Good morning once again from the main interview room. We'll be joined in just a moment by the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, John Beilein. And in 10 minutes, we'll be joined by student athletes from Michigan, Muhammad Ali Abdur Rahman and Mo Wagner. They'll be joining us right now. As soon as the student athletes wrap up their interview session, they'll join us here as well. Coach Beilein from 11:30 to 11:50. Student athletes from Michigan join the coach right here at the main interview room from 11:40 to 11:50. That's coming up next here in the main interview room. Just a reminder, if you're joining us, please take a moment to silence your mobile phone. Please refrain from any flash photography. No video recording devices are permitted to be used during these news conferences and here today. That includes handheld cameras, mini cameras, and mobile phone cameras. You cannot stream or go live on any social media platform during these news conferences. If you do need satellite information, the gentleman and lady from Hammond Communications are happy to provide it to you. And, of course, we have our intrepid crew of microphone stewards. If you have a question for Coach or any of our athletes joining Coach a little later on, we'll send a microphone steward in your direction. Raise your hand. Please state your name and media outlet, and we'll get your question in. Coach Beilein is next from Michigan. Hey, Coach. Good to see you again. We're joined right now by Michigan head coach John Beilein. We'll have student athletes from Michigan joining us in about 10 minutes. Right now, questions for Coach. Coach, would you like to make a statement? How are you doing today? How's the team?
It's a good day. It's a great day to be a Wolverine. We are, it's been fantastic. We had a great experience last night. All the teams getting together to sort of enjoy the exhibition hall and the fan jam, fan fest, whatever it's called. It was tremendous, and had a great little dinner together last night. So we're blessed to be here and gonna have one more day of prep for a tremendous, not a good, but a tremendous Loyola team, and we're gonna be as ready as we can be.
If you have a question for Coach Beilein, please raise your hand. We're going to send a microphone attendant to you. We're going to use the front right microphone for Mark on the right.
Hi, Coach. Mark Herman from Newsday of New York. I just looking at your own Jesuit education and your work at Jesuit schools.
Yeah.
What do you think of the sensation that Sister Jean has become?
No, it's absolutely it's terrific. You know, just coming from being in Catholic institutions for probably is either attending or coaching at them for what would it be, almost 19 years, almost half my educated life or my adult life. I got great value, right? I think I can name every Jesuit school if you ask me to, including the Spring Hills and the Rockhursts and everybody. So I got a lot of admiration for what they've done there, and Jesuit education was a tremendous influence on my life. St. Ignatius, the whole deal. And as a result, I admire them, and they got a great program. Oh, about Sister Jean. Well, Sister Jean, that's another story. I have some religious in my own family, aunts and great aunts, and Kathleen's aunt, and in our family. Have great admiration for them. I will tell you, I have heard from many religious that I personally know that tell me their prayers are doing everything they can counter Sister Jean. And I had a priest, not even at my own parish, stop Mass at the end of Mass on Tuesday, and say, they have Sister Jean, you have everybody here. We had praying for you. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's great.
Let's go to the back left, Pat, and then we'll get to Dan in the middle.
Hey, John. Pat Forty
Hi,
from
Pat.
Yahoo Sports. As somebody who's coached some very pretty offenses yourself, passing, shooting, cutting, and everything, I'm wondering what you think of Loyola's and what they've been able to do.
Yeah, you're right where I've been thinking for the last 3 days, Pat. I mean, this thing is a thing of beauty. This is not Princeton in any way, but they cut on and off. They cut without the ball. They dribble with the ball. They post. I think having the great, not good, but great passing center has really had a great impact on them. And they got shooters everywhere. Now people have great offenses. Do they have people who can all shoot and all see the floor? That's the real thing here. Their plays are pretty, but their concepts, the way the team runs their concepts, is a thing of beauty.
Toward the center of the room, Dan.
Hey, John. Dan Wolken, USA Today. You've coached a number of players who maybe came into college not necessarily projected to go to the NBA quickly, but because of how they performed at Michigan, had that opportunity. Given that, how do you view this concerted effort on the part of college sports to kind of drive the one-and-done element away and basically say, we don't want you here in our league?
I don't think that's the case. I don't think we're trying to drive anybody away. And we're not saying we don't want you. We're saying if you really want us, here's who we are. This is we're student athletes. We want you to, in particular at our place. I would never turn down a kid that is a projected 1-and-1 if he understands that it's Michigan and he should unpack his bag for 4 years. But if after 1 year he's got great options, we will drive him to the airport. That's the mentality I think we need to have right now. And so we're not nobody's driving anybody away. We just got to make sure that guys are playing college basketball for the right reasons. It's a destination. It's an experience in your life you'll never have again. And if you're fortunate enough to have opportunities early in that career to go pro, like we have, I think every coach endorses that. But the kid that is just put in his time and it is not a destination, that doesn't work out well for most.
Coach in the back on the right side.
Jermaine Franklin with TSN. Coach, do you see any similarities between your team and Loyola?
I hope so. I hope we play a lot like them. They're good. They're good. And I think that they, we have a lot of guys that are unselfish, a lot of guys that shoot the ball well, a lot of people that can pass. We both play very good defense. If you just look at the ratings, but you look at our assist turnover numbers or the amount of, if you look at the stats, just compare the stats between the two teams, you'll find some remarkable similarities.
Jermaine, you want to follow up, Jermaine?
Yeah.
Yes, please. And off the top, you did say they are a tremendous team. Is it easier said than done not to see them as an 11 seed or an underdog?
I never, the seedings, they do such a great job. But we're seeding 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids and playing, no one's playing on home courts anymore. And there's a lot of neutrality to every game that balances things very much. So they probably weren't misseeded, given the fact that I don't think there's a big difference between 1 and 4 and maybe 9 to 14. There's not a big difference. Maybe 16 and 1, there's a big difference. But we all saw that for the first time. Something can happen. But it is so hard for them to do this, and it's they could very easily, if they were playing in a power conference, they might have been a 6, 7, 5, 4 seed. They might have won one of those conferences. They're so good. They might win the national championship. So I'm not saying that seeding is wrong. I'm just saying it is inexact science to try and figure out.
In the back on the right side.
Coach, several of your players are coaches' sons. Is that something that you seek out, or is that just happenstance? And does that present? Mohammed was saying how he's been around a lot of coaches, and it may make him a little even more stubborn.
Yeah, I think so. And you know what? When I coach my own son, it's not always a bowl of cherries. It can be difficult at times. So I think we've seen both parts of that. We've seen the part where the coach just says the coaching father says to me, "You got him. You don't have to worry about me." And I've had a coaching father tell me in games when I apologized maybe why he wasn't playing so much. Just, I'm sorry. It's just there's a process you got to go through. I've had a parent tell me, I'm trying to figure out why you're playing him at all. Right? He shouldn't be out there. And so it is. You get both of those, and then obviously anybody that's ever had their son play for another coach, the DNA takes over in that one. The genetics take over, and it's very hard for them to separate that and see really what that their son might. They have to go to practice. I always tell people, and I write a letter to every parent, you have to be to practice every day for the last 40 years I've coached to understand why we make decisions on playing. And you can't do that, so you just got to trust us.
Up front to the right, Mark.
Just to follow up on the one and done question, why do you have a theory about why so many of the teams that have one and dones don't make it this far to the Final Four? The Final Four teams generally are the more experienced teams.
I think there's a process of going through a season that you have to experience, 1, 2, 3 times before you can really have this type of success under this pressure in March. I think that comes down to it a lot of times. They're just young. They're just young, and they have a lot of other options presented in front of them. And like I'm saying, I'm all for it. I don't have any issues with the kid that's a freshman that comes in and has or a sophomore that comes in and has a great year and decides to go pro. I'm all for it. At the same time, it is difficult to win. I remember when Carmelo Anthony did it with Syracuse. That's one of the, and I think Duke did it a few years ago with some young kids. There may be some other times where freshmen dominated in the NCAA tournament. It's very few that's really been able to happen.
We're going to bring student athletes up.
Kentucky certainly has some success as well, but I'm sure John would have liked them been more experienced. They would even have more experience, but you can't teach experience.
The chair went down, but I managed to keep my feet underneath me. The degree of difficulty on that stunt was a 9.9. We'd like to welcome Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman and Mo Wagner, student athletes from Michigan, to join Coach Beilein at this time. We have questions for Coach or student athletes. Let's go to the middle.
Brian Gillis, SB Nation. Coach, there's a football adage that says defense travels. I think that's proven to be true of this Michigan team. How much, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but maybe peace of mind do you get knowing that even on an off shooting night, with the defensive effort that your team brings, you're going to be in most games?
Well, there's no peace of mind, first of all. There's never peace of mind. If we're up by 22 with 2 minutes to go, there's not peace of mind. But at the same time, it is good to know that we can. I think it was very. You could see it in a couple of our games where we couldn't score a basket, but we kept getting the ball back, and the score was still up 7, up 5, up 4, and that's been good. But there's. I do know that defense give you, if you play good defense, and these two guys are really good ones, give you a chance to win every day.
In the front on the left side.
Chris Gasper, Boston Globe. This question is for Coach Beilein. What led you to believe that Duncan Robinson could go from Division III to being a contributor at a Big Ten, major Big Ten school?
I knew his coach, Mike Maker at Williams. I have coached at Nazareth, which is a very good Division III program, and Lemoyne, which is Division II. So I'd seen those guys, and then all of a sudden you're the coach at Canisius, and you're saying, well, these guys at Canisius are good, but there are some kids playing Division II that can play in Division I. Remembering some of my Division II teams, so it was that, and then I watched his films extensively. A freshman leads his team to the Final Two, to the championship game in Division III. And trusting what my former assistant as head coach at Williams was saying. So this makes sense for us. And he fills a void of a shooter. And also knowing our strength coach, John Sanderson, could develop that body over time with a redshirt year.
Next question is just to the right of the aisle.
Aaron Torres with The Athletic. Questions for Mo. Last week in LA, one of the German reporters was talking to you about the growth of college basketball in Germany. If you don't mind kind of expanding on that, he said that I think people are now filling out brackets and doing the things that we hear in the States. So I was just curious if you had any personal experience with that.
I mean, I know just as much as he told me. To be honest, my family told me a little bit about it. It makes me proud, honestly. It's a really cool thing that people care about Michigan basketball all of a sudden. So, yeah, it's cool.
Next question is a little bit further back to the right of the aisle.
This is for Coach. If Loyola hadn't won its conference tournament, there's a pretty good chance they would not be in the field. And the trend in recent years is for fewer and fewer at-larges to go to mid-major programs. Do you think their run maybe should spark some conversation about changing the selection format to allow more of these teams in?
I think that this will, a consistency of these type of runs where you saw the George Masons, the VCU, the Butler, which the Missouri Valley, compared to the Horizon at one time, I would think people would have thought the Missouri Valley, Wichita State made a run. That I think that the more that it happens, I think it's natural that they'll value, hey, this team was outstanding. I think the biggest issue would be having more and more teams be able to schedule teams like this so that they had their out-of-conference wins. That's the beauty of being in one of the Power 5 conferences or the Big East as well, is that you can schedule games and you can choose who you schedule. Loyola Chicago can't do that. Wichita State can't do that. That's a tougher thing. But I would assume it's going to have some impact because if this trend continues.
We'll move up front to the right, Bob.
Bob Winowski, Detroit News. For Mo, can you tell us which family members or how many family members are here from Germany, and did they just make the trip this week, or have they been here for a while?
My parents came all the way over here. They arrived Wednesday. Yep.
We have time for some more questions with our student athletes and with Coach Beilein. Jermaine in the back on the right.
Jermaine Franklin with TSN. Mo, this question is for you. One of the big differences a couple of the players from Loyola said in facing Michigan would be you and your versatility as a big man. Do you see yourself as a possible big difference maker tomorrow?
To be honest with you, my approach doesn't change with who we play. I think it should be the same whoever we play. I think we're all very confident in each other, and yeah, that's going to be the same either way. So aggressive and confident as always, and we'll see what happens.
We have a question for Muhammad Ali on the front to the right. Bob?
Yeah, Muhammad, you seem like, obviously on the court, the more calm, serene player, and Mo seems more like the volatile, exuberant type. How do you think that'll play out tomorrow on the big stage? Do you have to calm him down? Does he have to fire you up, or how does that dynamic work?
I think you might have to fire me up a little bit, but no, I'll be excited to play. But I'll try to stick to what I know, and that's being even kill and being ready for anything.
You want Mo to respond?
Oh yeah. No, he calms himself down in the timeouts and stuff. He talks in German, and then we just let him calm down, and he gets right back out of there.
He enters into the third person. He starts talking to Mo. When he starts talking to Mo, we quiet, let him talk to himself.
Continuing with questions for Coach Beilein or the student athletes from Michigan. Go right back to Bob, and then we have two in that same area.
Well, John, just following up on that, because Mo is viewed as the exuberant villain, so to speak, in games like this, as a coach, and of course, on Saturday with Loyola and everything, how do you keep him under wraps, so to speak?
He's so resilient. We have had interesting conversations over time, and even in the heat of the moment, where he just listens to me, and he's really good at filtering out the message, despite whether I'm angry about it or whether I'm just teaching him. He sees it all as a teaching aspect, and it's yes, no, and I get this. Some things come a little slower than others sometimes, and so he's really a good student about the game, But some days he'd get C's and D's in his tests, right? And then the next day it's a D plus. The next day it's a C plus. He just keeps improving.
Let's stay up front on the right side.
Coach, I was wondering if this week in practice or in the preparation for this game you sensed any antsiness from the team, and if not, on a team where there's players who haven't been here before, how they've kind of stayed relaxed.
I haven't sensed anything, but I'll tell you we'd love to be playing today. I think it is great to have all this prep time, but they want to play. We want to play because this is our 40th game, and we've been preparing for a long time. They're probably sick of the same fast facts and walkthroughs and practicing, but we have to continue. We'll just continue to do what we do all year long. This is if you're in a journey like we're in with these type of young men and that staff that we have, we can get through this last weekend, and I don't think they'll ever forget this experience, regardless of what happens.
Let's go back to Mark right here. This may be the last question.
Mark Herman from Newsday in New York. This is for both Mohamed and Mo. I asked your coach about the value of experience. Can you describe how much your experience at Michigan is helping you right now? And really, with the benefit of having stayed in college for a few years, what has that done for you?
We'll ask Mo to take that first, please, and then Muhammad Ali.
I think obviously it let me grow as a basketball player, but most importantly as a person. Learn how to live by myself, take care of myself. I think very important for me. And obviously, in Michigan we don't only worry about basketball. It's a big thing for us that we take care of this stuff off the court as well. So it's been significant for me in my life, and I'm very happy I'm here.
Muhammad Ali, same question.
Just like Mo said, being in school for 4 years, Michigan's made me into a man. Learning how to do the essentials of life, everything really. And and on the basketball side, it's no stage is too big, and just always being able to be poised and composed.
We'd like to thank Mo and Muhammad Ali and Coach Beilein for joining us here. Wish you guys luck, and we'll see you tomorrow
Thanks,
night.
everyone.
You guys didn't step up and save me when I was taking that chair. We got the fancy placards this year. It's not just like the hot off the printer ones, so a lot of juggling.